man, I need to figure this thing out. I need to figure it out. My podcast in general is not bad, and my numbers are also not bad. But I think exactly that's the problem, because I don't want to make a not bad podcast. I want to make the podcast which is amazing to listen. You listen in and say, wow, oh, this insight, and it has story, it has music, it has inspiration. I think this need to be more spontaneous. I lost 2 of the followers of this podcast. Dear follower, why you left my podcast? So we had 73 followers on this podcast. Now we have only 71. So like we are moving backwards right now. Oh man, too bad. But okay, because I have a good advantage. I'm locked in the tech stories, the hidden side of tech, and I'm locked in the human stakes which are here, how tech influence our life, how tech really shapes who we are, how shapes our society. And I want to see the hidden side of the tech stories. And I think I have a strength which no one else has, because I'm in a right position to tell the story, because I'm an electrical engineer, I have telecommunication degree, I have a master in management, business and engineering from an international school in Wuhan, in China. I studied in Brazil. I work in Germany. I have visited dozens of countries and worked in so many high-tech companies. I wrote a book about innovation. And this topic is something which inspires me. So I think I'm the right person for this podcast, and it's the right moment. And I just need to figure this thing out. Let's start now. Because today's story is about the end of the search. You know, the end of the search, the internet search. You know that search bar, Google, you type in something and looking for something. So that thing is gone. And by having that thing gone, all the system on how we get information, or how we find information, by having that thing gone, it brings with it profound changes in how the internet is built, how the internet on the building blocks of the internet. And the internet, websites and portals and news outlets, etc., are going to a tremendous transformation. I think this will be groundbreaking, because right now already the internet is becoming a place for bots, and that has a profound implication. And I want to tell where we are right now and where are we heading. And with me here, my AI co-host Didi. Hi, how are you doing today, Didi?
Hey, Ferdy. I'm doing well today. Ready to dive into big ideas about the future of the internet, or whatever rabbit hole you feel like exploring. I have to say, the idea you just described has been rattling around in my virtual head. What happens when the act of searching itself starts disappearing? That's a much more human story. How about you? How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. And I want you, now my dear listener, to imagine this here. You wake up, turn on your computer, and discover that the internet has essentially disappeared. The websites are still there, and all the web portals and everything, but they're not people anymore. There's no one interacting, no one writing, no one publishing, nothing. It's like a ghost town. And in 2026, this scenario is no longer a fiction, but it's already becoming reality, because zero-click searches are already hitting staggering 83% of the websites search. That's the kind of search where you go in the internet, on Google, you type there something which you are looking for, and then that comes on the first search result comes the AI answer. And that answer is already good enough, so you don't care about all the hundreds of links which follow below. So you will never click any link, never visit any website. You just okay with that answer which you get. For 25 years, actually, Google was the undisputed gateway to the human knowledge. It was the gateway to all the websites. But now, with the advancement of the AI, this gateway is changing to chat interfaces like ChatGPT, like Perplexity, Claude, or others. And right now, we are in the tipping point, because agentic AIs are already account for more than half of the web traffic. So you must imagine there are more machines navigating on your internet than there are humans. And that's why this story is so fascinating, because where are we going from here? The internet is becoming a place for bots. Today, we will explore this high stakes battle, which is worth trillions. All right, here we go. Let's start with the story. Because this story here starts with a graduate student at MIT. His name is Steve Kirsch. In his days, he was working at MIT and he was using a very expensive computer in his lab, and he was using a mechanical mouse, which constantly got stuck with something. Do you know that mechanical mouse, which has like a ball inside, and then there are some physical wheels which are spinning inside, and if you use it for a few weeks, you open that part and you see that there are a lot of dirt get there, and you need to scrub that dirt off because the mouse stops working well. Yeah. And he was annoyed by that. And he thought, well, why do I need to wait so long just because my mouse is bad? This frustration led into a breakthrough, because he went back to his apartment and he started working on the optical mouse. So this little gentleman, Steve Kirsch, invented the optical mouse, which we use till today. And it doesn't have that problem that it got stuck with dirt, right?
Oh, Ferdy, I already have to stop you there for a second. If there's one force that has driven human innovation throughout history, it might be irritation. Think about it. Someone got tired of walking long distances, so they invented the wheel. Someone got tired of lighting candles, so they invented electric light. Someone got tired of waiting weeks for a letter, so they invented the telephone. And now we're talking about a graduate student who got tired of cleaning mouse gunk. But I would be careful about the historical details here. The invention of the optical mouse involved several researchers and companies over many years, and the story may not be exactly as simple as one frustrated MIT student inventing it alone. The bigger point is what matters. A small annoyance created a big innovation. And that's a pattern we see again and again in the history of technology. But Ferdy, what I find interesting is how this connects to our larger story. Think about the internet in the early 1990s. There were websites everywhere, thousands of them, then millions. Finding anything was becoming impossible. And somewhere out there, a new generation of students and engineers became annoyed by that problem.
Yeah, searching costed real money. So for you to have an idea, it could cost you even up to $10 for each search. That it's like ridiculous. So Kirsch, this gentleman, Steve Kirsch, he set out to make information cheap, to reduce the search cost from $10 to 10 cents. And he discovered something really very cruel, because he discovered that people actually don't want to have a cheap search. He discovered that people want search to be free. And then he started to think, well, how can I make search free? How is that possible? I need servers, and I need to make like a mapping of it, and I need infrastructure, and I need programming, etc. How can that be even free? So he's the gentleman who then had another invention. He started to do the advertising, and advertisements was really the answer, because now you start to remember that early stage of the internet. You go on a website and see this flash banner and everything blinking and everywhere advertisements, like walking on the streets in Hong Kong. And he found out that the human attention can become the product, and you can sell the human attention to advertisers. And even in the text and in the videos and in the photos, everything you put advertisement inside, so you get paid for it. And the key insight here was that modern internet was built on advertisement. And it's like you having the foundation of the internet. How there could become a business model out of this is on advertisement. And then there's another two guys who came along in 1990s.
Exactly. The internet wasn't built on technology alone. It was built on attention. People got free websites, people got free search, people got free email. And in exchange, advertisers got access to human attention. That was the deal. But then a new problem appeared. The web was growing so fast that nobody knew where to go anymore. Millions of pages, millions of voices, no map, no GPS, just a giant digital wilderness. So if I was online in 1995 and wanted information about something, how would I know which website to trust? And that's where two graduate students from Stanford enter our story, Larry Page and Sergey Brin.
Exactly. That's where Larry Page and Sergey Brin came in, which are the founders of Google. Two Stanford students, which were less interested in finding information by themselves, but they were more interested in finding out which information to trust. And the key idea of their research and how they revolutionized the search engine is that instead of finding the keywords and looking what the page presents by themselves, they founded how each page linked to another. So if a certain page had a lot of links linking to it, then it's also very likely that this page is more relevant than another page, which maybe have only one link or no any pages linking to it. So, and in this way, you analyze this network and the connection between the websites, and you can rank which pages are likely to have the information or be likely to be more relevant of what you are searching. So this was groundbreaking. But you see where the story is going, right? You are still on that way of searching, and the search engine presents you a list of links, and you can follow your curiosity. So you are in charge here, looking all of these links which are present to you, and then you can decide, click here and click there, or go and navigate and go back. And many of us have that web browser with these 200 tabs open on the navigation bar. But here is the key transition of what is happening right now. Because for 25 years now, humans were surfers. Like, you have this web browser, it's even called Safari, Internet Explorer, because you are kind of exploring the network. But today, there's a shift happening. And it's a very profound shift, because now the AI is surfing for us. Yeah, so Google's mission was very simple. It wanted to organize the information from the whole internet. It's very ambitious, but it's simple. Now, the key aspect of the Google, how it is constructed right now, is that you have this search bar, and once you type in, you're already giving the machine your intent. If you type in, for instance, show me nice, Nike shoes, it knows that you are interested in Nike shoes. Maybe you are willing to buy some Nike shoe, could be. Or if you type a cheap flight from Berlin to Rome, then you will know also, okay, maybe there's someone will book a flight very soon. So in this case, it knows your intent, and it can use this information to direct the advertisement exactly to you. And this is exactly goldmine. Google knows the exact moment when you want it. He knows what you wanted, when you want it. And that fact alone created one of the most profitable businesses with AdSense, with the Google results. But then in 2017, Google invents its own disruptor. Because the researchers at the Google Brain published a paper, "Attention is All You Need." And that was so groundbreaking because it actually changes everything. Because it goes into the transformer architecture. With this publishment of this paper, "Attention is All You Need," it introduced the transformer architecture, which allowed artificial intelligence to draw dependencies across text without the sequential limitations of older methods. You understand what that means? So your AI don't need to read the text in a sequential manner. It just need to get all the data, bam, and it can draw conclusion and connect and find correlations for that. And that exactly was the big bang for the large language models, because it shifted the paradigm of finding the computer links and the navigating through the internet. It now becomes able to generate answers for you. And with this, Google faces the innovator dilemma because it has built an entire ecosystem around this search bar, around finding your links and opening this portal for you to navigate through the internet. But there's no portal needed anymore. Now I just need to talk to the AI. If Google provides instant access to its AI engine for you to search all via the AI interface, it's destroying the whole system which it built. And that's 147 billion advertisement empire, which all of a sudden might just be gone.
Google's genius wasn't just finding information, it was understanding intent. Every search was a confession. Cheap flights to Rome, best running shoes, how to fix a leaking faucet. People were literally telling Google what they wanted. And advertisers loved that. Because instead of showing ads to everyone, they could show ads to the exact person looking for that thing at that exact moment. That's why search became one of the greatest businesses in history. But then comes the twist. The company that perfected search accidentally invented a world beyond search. And suddenly, AI wasn't just retrieving information anymore. It could understand patterns across enormous amounts of text. It could generate answers. And that's where the irony begins. Google spent 20 years building the perfect gateway to the web. Then its own researchers helped create a technology that might make that gateway unnecessary. That's the innovator's dilemma. The next generation of technology often destroys the generation that came before it. And now Google faces a terrifying question. What happens if people stop searching?
Yeah, and this shift is not just a small corporate battle, it's actually an existential crisis. Publishers like HubSpot have lost up to 80% of their organic traffic, while Business Insider has seen a 55% drop. So no one going on their website anymore. Just imagine all these thousands of companies. Nah? If you are ranked on top search of Google and people are clicking on your links and you get, 12,000 impressions a day, in this new world right now, you don't get anything. People never really jump from the search page into your website. And under the new regime now, the companies need to start to adapt. They start doing the generative engine optimization, which is marketing is no longer about keywords density. It's about citation and machine relationship. So what happens really when you stop navigating on the internet? When you just go YouTube, watch what the algorithms recommend to you. You go on Instagram, watch what the algorithms recommend you. You go to Facebook, you watch what the algorithm recommends to you. And then need to find something, you interact with AI, only with that chatbot. I will tell you, there's one thing which I found here on my research, which I found very fascinating, is that this lack of searching and finding things by yourself, it will make also the serendipity disappear.
Ah, serendipity. One of my favorite words, Ferdy. Serendipity is when you find something valuable without looking for it. It's an accidental discovery. You're searching for one thing and discover something completely different that turns out to be even more interesting. Think about the old internet. You search for the history of Google. You click a website. That website links to another story. Suddenly, you're reading about the early days of Stanford, venture capital, or some crazy startup story you've never heard before. You didn't plan to find it. You stumbled upon it. That's serendipity.
And that's I think, a very important thing, because we are not navigating through the jungle of the internet anymore. Now we are talking just to AI and we are losing this stumbling across something. And if technology always gives us exactly what we want, it may stop giving us what we really need. So is this search now coming to an end and where we are going to develop? So let's suppose make a mental experiment here. If we say all websites are not there anymore, they stop being updated because, well, you don't have visitors, so you don't need to update it. Then the artificial intelligence also cannot scrape through the internet and get the knowledge of it anymore. So it will stop developing. So, and who will put the effort and the power into developing some new text, new reports, new information? I think we say that the AI is accelerating our progress because we have much more access to knowledge and we can analyze like relationships much more easier and use this to develop even further. But think about how the internet is going to develop now, which is the foundation. So how is that going to be? How can the AI generate by itself some new knowledge if you don't have some new text? So it all becomes recycled. And maybe even there is a side which may say that you start developing slower, right? If there's no any new website to feed your AI, then soon the AI by itself will be only generating content and regenerating. We might have a lack of creativity. And that's exactly why I want to encourage you, if you are a creator, if you are a writer, if you are something, I think soon humanity will also realize, hey man, maybe AI is not everything. Maybe I need that faulty little person writing that text, which is not polished, it's not complete, not even totally correct, but it's something which brings novelty, which brings a different view, right? We are shifting now from this place where we search for a hotel, compare the options, read the reviews, and then book it. Now, the AI tells us where we want to go and then book the hotel, book everything. We don't do anything anymore. And the same is for meal planning, for shopping, for traveling, for research, for scheduling stuff. We stay in our houses, in front of our computer and on our cell phone and just talk to that AI chatbot. We don't do the search anymore. AI is not just finding stuff for us, but it's also doing things for us. Maybe we will be more free to do other things. But if I'm not not spending my time creating something with it, I don't need to spend so much time searching or spending time for that. What should I do with my time? Hopefully you will find something good. Now here comes the closing idea, the closing reflection of today's episode. Maybe the very act of searching something on Google will be a relic of the past, because we are moving from an era of information retrieval to an era of action completion. You will no longer search for a hotel. Your AI will search for it, will book your hotel, will do everything for you. So, of course, everything will be much more efficient. But as this technology matures, we must also ask ourselves, what happens to human curiosity when the hunt for the knowledge becomes effortless? And if the 21st century began with the quest for personalization, it may only find its balance through a return on purposeful randomness. So we need a kind of randomness here. I believe that the story of search was never really about this technology only. It was about how we find our place in the world, how we discover this world. And I think we as humans still need to go out there and find your stuff. Imagine it's human. You like to have this feeling and this experience, right? So if you say, okay, I want to climb a mountain, or I want to discover a new scenery. Okay, I send the AI there and search for it and do my travel plan and even do the traveling for me. Would that be good? I think this searching, discovering and finding a thing there's a lot of joy to find there. And I think we should not outsource completely the searching and the finding to the AI, because you might be losing some things on the way. You might be losing the possibility to stumble upon someone, to finding something you were not even looking for, but which might be exactly the thing you need. And as the click dies, as we stop clicking on these links and as we stop exploring the internet, we must ensure that our drive to explore doesn't die with it.
Because it's not really about search engines. It's about the future of knowledge, curiosity, and the internet itself. What happens when searching disappears?
And this is going to affect our whole life, right? If you don't have traffic on the website anymore, how is that sustainable? How will that work in future? I think we are running into a big trouble here.
But it ends up being about human curiosity, business models, knowledge, and the future of the web.
Yeah, I think our podcast here is the most experimental podcast because every episode sounds different. But let's see where we go from here. Thank you. I'm glad you are around following this journey with me. And I hope to see you here again next week when we explore one more insightful story on tech. Until then, take care and bye-bye.